let's go to work. The first thing I'm going to say here today is this. Think about the car that you drove here today. That car has a speedometer. Some of the speedometers, 160, 200, 140, 220, depending on the kind of car that you drive. Have you ever tried the true potential of your car before? Have you ever tried it before? I know you haven't, and I know why you have not tried it. Because of the stop signs, because of the yield signs, because of that 75 miles per hour, the cautions, the 45 miles per hour set on the road, designed by the world, because of the 25 miles per hour, because of those warnings, because of those signs. That's why you have not tried the true potential of the car. Even if you were put on an autobahn, you know, an autobahn, an highway without road limit, one exists in Germany. You know what happens? You will still not try it, because you have been used to those limits, because you have been programmed with those limitations, those stop signs, the yield signs, the 75 miles per hour. And do you know why we are driving? If someone overtakes you, let's say you are on 75, someone overtakes you, if the person is on 90, you feel like, wow, oh, they are doing better than me. Wow, you feel something like, wow, I just have to catch up. You're trying to compete with the person. I mean, you do that. You think about it, you've done it before. Or maybe you overtake someone, you feel good, then you look at the rear mirror. They are behind, right? Because we're trying to compare ourselves with other people. But the person is running at 90, and the true speedometer of the car is 220. And you're already thinking that someone is more successful than you. Today we're going to discover those stop signs, those yield signs, those limitations, and we're going to discover the true self. I'm talking about your true speedometer, and how you can speed at that true speedometer, how you can see that true speedometer. Do you know that the manufacturer of your car actually tested the car before they released the car? That this car we have tested it. This car has the potential to run at 220. In fact, they hire some people, that's their job, just to do the testing. They are in the quality control department. All they do is to just check that this car will function just the way we have designed it. Your phone, before they release the phone, they tested the phone, that this phone can make a call, and this phone can receive a call, and this phone can do exactly what we have said that this phone will do. And they release the phone, and when you called, is it going through? Have you ever received phone call from your phone? Yes, it's doing exactly what they promised that phone would do. That's exactly what we are going to discover today. You're going to discover your true self, your true potential. I have read hundreds of books on leadership. I've studied great leaders for more than 10 years. I've been doing this intensive study, studying people who are really leading, people that we cannot forget their names. There are some people in your head now that you cannot forget their names because of the great things that they've done. I've studied people like Nelson Mandela. I've studied people like Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr. I've studied people like Chief Joseph. I've studied people like Rosa Parks. Why that we can't forget their names? I've studied Jesus Christ, the greatest leader that ever lived. Period. I've studied people like Paul, people like Moses. Though some of us, we don't like him, but we need to find something, to discover something about him. I've studied Joshua, Esther. I've studied why we can't forget those names, why we have them in the Bible. People like Gideon. I've studied their lives, and I've come to a conclusion about leadership. I decided to define leadership in my own way, and I'm going to show us that true definition of leadership. Is coming out in my next book, by God's grace. The title of the book is Just Jump. I want to introduce personal leadership to you today, and in this introduction I'm going to give us some powerful statements. Powerful statements. All of us, we have some workbooks with us. Let's just keep to them for now. We're going to come back to those workbooks. The first statement I'm going to say to you today is this: it is not what you think, it is not what you are, rather, that holds you back. It is what you think you are not that holds you back. It is not what you are that holds you back. It is what you think you are not that holds you back. That's exactly what is holding you back. It is not your true potential, your capacity, the ability that you have in you that holds you back. What you think about your true potential is that thing that holds you back. What consumes your mind controls your life. Think about that. What consumes your mind controls your life. You cannot always control your circumstances, but you can control your own thoughts. That's what you can control. Nothing changes until your mind changes. Miracles don't change people. If you want your life to be transformed, you have to have a changed mind. Nothing changes until your mind changes. Nothing. Think about it. Anything that you are going through right now in your life, relationship, finances, your family, your business, your own personal life, whatever, nothing will change until your mind changes. For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. See, the heart is very key there. You know, sometimes we quote that scriptures and we forget the heart. As a man thinketh, so is he. In his heart, so is he. That's a key word there. As you think in your heart, that's who you are. And that's what you are. Information does not lead to personal transformation. The conversion does. I want to repeat that. Information does not lead to personal transformation. The conversion of the information does. Have you ever thought about many things that you have decided to do, or many information that you have right now that you have never acted on? Many things that you think you know. Okay, you know those things, but what are the results that you have produced from those things? The conversion of the information does. Knowledge alone is not power. The conversion of the knowledge gives you true power. And that's why you can be a PhD holder, you can be a professor and still be poor. You can be a professor and still not be a leader. You have a lot of resources, you have information, you are an expert. But if you don't act on what you know, You'll still be lacking. Even those things that you know. Until you act on those things. Everything begins with a decision. Then we have to manage that decision for the rest of your life. That means decision doesn't make you. If you make a decision today, you want to do something today, that decision cannot change your life until you decide to manage that decision. You have to decide about your decision itself, because the management of decision is doing something about that decision that you have made every day. Underline the word every day. Daily. People are not sent to heaven. People decide to go to heaven. People are not sent to hell. People decide to go to hell. And when you decide that this is where I want to go, then you have to manage that decision daily. It's a daily thing. The most difficult project in the world is the reconstruction of the human mind. That is the most difficult project in the world. Most difficult project in the world. That's what I do. That's my work. Can you see how hard my work is? Can you see how hard it is? I'm doing the most difficult work. To start working with someone that the mind is already programmed not to do something, and to try to be showing that person that, hey, this thing is going to lead you to failure, it's going to lead you to this. Can you just readjust and change your mind? To tell that to a human being is the most difficult project to do. To tell someone to change his or her mind, it's a hard job. Very hard. I do that every day. It's very hard. But God is helping us. Leaders think and talk about solutions. Followers think and talk about the problems. All they do, blah 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 blah. They just keep talking about the problems, biting, complaining, and talking about other people, and just doing. They're always busy because they have broad lives. Their lives are very broad. But leaders, they have narrow life. They don't have time for that. That's why they are not everywhere. They do everything by choice. They don't have time for that because they are on a mission. So everything that comes their way that doesn't look like the mission and the vision, they don't fall for it. And that's why they talk about solutions. Number 10. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Wow, I love this. You know why? Look at the first statement. And God blessed them. That scripture doesn't say and God bless him and God bless her. Good news for the women. God bless the both male and female. Everyone has the power. Everyone has the ability to lead. Everyone. The difference is we have different responsibilities. Everyone has that ability to lead. I always say it everywhere I go. Everyone is a leader. Everyone has the potential to lead. Everyone. Everyone. Including you. You have it in you. So if you are not leading right now, that means you have to be very sensitive about all the sections we're having today, because something is about to happen. Look at the word. Be fruitful. That means produce something. Produce something. This is the first command. The first command is not don't say. It's not don't do this, don't do that. The first command is be fruitful. This is the beginning, when everything was perfect. No prayer meetings, no choir practice, no singing, no dancing here. This is the beginning. The first command, be fruitful, before sin came in chapter 3. And everything from chapter 3 to Revelation, now bringing us back to Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. The only two complete chapters in the Bible without problems. No challenges. Everything was sweet. Go and read those 2 chapters again. Very sweet. The first command, be fruitful. That means produce something. So let's look at it. Let's say someone produced this, right? This is a fruit. This is a fruit from someone. This is a product. See, we have to make it real today. When he says be fruitful, he's talking about produce something. It's not just talking about making babies. That's okay. We have to be fruitful in every area of our lives. Be fruitful, produce something. This is a product. The next command, multiply. That means if you have produced this, then multiply this. If you have produced one, I've written some books. If I produce one book, then that means I have to just multiply those books. Then reproduce the book. Send them all around the world. The same book, the same products that you have produced. The next command, fill the earth. That means distribute it everywhere. This scripture is the foundation of every business you see in the world today. Every business you see in the world. Think about McDonald's. Think about their products. Do you know any product from McDonald's? Big Mac. Everywhere you go around the world, you see Big Mac. That's a product. That's a product. Go to China, same Big Mac. Go to Europe, go to UK, same Big Mac. Go to California, same Big Mac. One product. Distributed everywhere. The next command, subdue it. That means be in charge. Subdue it. Be in charge. Dominate it. Dominate the market. Be in charge of that domain. And it says, and have dominion. The word dominion means in charge. It means leadership. The word dominion means leadership. Remember when we started, everyone can produce something. What are you producing? What are you producing? The cloth that you have on right now is someone's product. The shoe that you have on is someone's product. Everything you have on today is someone's product. It came from someone. Imagine that person never produced that thing. Are you going to have it on? The car you drove is someone's product. What are you producing? We talk about Nike. That's someone's product. And everybody is crazy about brands. Until I put on brand, that's when I can see myself that I'm very important. That's stupidity. That until you see yourself, until you wear a brand, that's when you see yourself valuable. Wow. So if you don't wear the brand, then you don't see yourself valuable. That's someone's brand. That's someone's name. What are you producing? What are you producing? 11. A leader is one who sees more than others see, who sees farther than others see, and who sees before others see. That's a leader. The most important thing about leadership is vision. When someone sees farther than others, that's a leader in charge. It's not a matter of age. It's a matter of vision. It's vision. What can you see? God asked Jeremiah 1:11. So what can you see? He responded. Good, he responded. He said, I can see an almond tree. He said, oh, yeah, good. Then you have seen well. He asked him again in chapter 13, what can you see? Can you imagine? Same question twice about vision. That is very important. So what can what can you see? What can you see about your family? What can you see about your business? What can you see about yourself? What can you see about your finances? What can you see about your relationship? What can you see about your career? What can you see? What can you see? All right, number 12. Let me rush through this. You have observed how godless rulers throw their weight around. And how quickly a little power goes to their heart, to their heads. It is not going to be that way with you. Whoever wants to be great must become a servant. Whoever. The word whoever, take note of it, underline that whoever. That whoever is an open check to everyone. Whosoever. That's a very good word from Jesus. Jesus he used that in many places in the scriptures. Whosoever. That means it's an open check to everyone. That means you also have the right to lead. So if you are not leading right now, that is the choice you have made. So whosoever that wants it, then he gave what you should do. Serve. What is he telling you to serve? Serve yourself. What is that you that you have to serve? Is in you. What is that thing that is in you that you have to serve? It's your gift. What's your gift? What's your gift? Have you discovered your gift? Your gift is your work. Your gift, I'm going to say something very, very crucial here. It's not your job. It's your work. Throughout the Bible, you can find work. You can't find job there. But you can find one that is close to job. Job. Hallelujah. Yes. Work. That's your gift. You have to serve your gift. You have to be a slave to your gift. Whoever that serves the most is going to be the greatest. Whoever that distributes him or herself the most is going to be the greatest. Okay, this is my definition. My definition says leadership is the ability and the capacity to inspire people to do what they thought they couldn't do, with a sense of purpose and vision. There are key words there. We're going to send this to you later. I believe you drop your emails and all that. We're going to send everything to you. Let me tell you something about you. You have the ability to lead. You have the ability to create a capacity. You have to think that you are capable of doing it, because it is so. You were tested before the manufacturer released you to the world. You were tested. They confirmed you that you have that ability to produce and reproduce, to subdue the earth. You have that ability, whether you believe it or not. If you have a seed and you put that seed on the floor, that seed is a potential forest. If you don't put the seed in a good environment where the seed will grow, you just keep the seed maybe on the concrete floor, that does not mean that the seed still don't have that same potential. The only thing you are just doing is you have not put the seed in the right environment. So because you are not producing right now doesn't mean you still don't have the potential. You still have it in you. You just have to start now and produce something. Leadership problem. We have a lot of problems. The greatest problem we have in our world today is leadership. That's the greatest problem. Everywhere you go. Greatest problem everywhere you go. And I'm going to show you why you don't lead today. Because leadership is not power. It is empowerment. Leadership is not control. It is inspiration. Leadership is not manipulation. It is inspiration or influence. Leadership is not position. It is service. Leadership is not pursuing people. It is about pursuing your purpose. When you pursue your purpose, people will pursue you. Have you ever seen a tree that produces fruits and goes to people's door, knocking their door? I have fruit, come and pluck. I have fruit, come and pluck. Have you ever seen one before? People go to the tree that produces fruits. When you pursue your purpose, people will be attracted to you. People will come to you because they want to pluck your fruit. But if you don't produce any fruit, I'm sorry, just be standing alone there. Fruit without fruits. A tree without fruits. Okay, this is a serious business. This is a serious business. Serious business right here. You have the capacity to lead. You have it in you. Why do we need leadership in families, businesses, communities, and nations? Because this is the greatest problem we have. We need leaders because nothing happens without leadership. Nothing happens without leadership. Nothing progresses without leadership. Nothing moves without leadership. Nothing happens without leadership. Nothing progresses. Nothing changes without leadership. Nothing begins without leadership. Nothing. I look at this. I love this. Said by Alexander the Great. Said an army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by sheep. That's leadership. That's leadership. Look at this. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to round up here. Look at this picture. My best animal is the lion. Do you know why I love lions? I'm going to tell you why. Because when the lion meets an elephant, something happens there. Look at it. Just look at that guy. I love this. I love going to the zoo. I love nature. I just love to just sit down and just be watching the lion in their kingdom. I just love it. You know why? When I see the lion, all I see is leadership. All I see is leadership. Nothing else, nothing more. The reason why this guy is the king of the jungle, this is the reason. When the lion meets this elephant, look at what happens. Who thinks breakfast? Who thinks lunch or dinner? It depends on the time that the lion meets the elephant. The lion thinks lunch, dinner. The elephant thinks death. Dawn. This is the end of the journey. You know why? Because of the way the elephant thinks. The elephant is more intelligent than the lion. But the elephant thinks death. Do you know why? Because of the attitude, because of the way the elephant thinks. The elephant has a great potential, but the way he thinks limits the elephant. That's a great potential. Just one foot on the lion is dead. Why that the elephant cannot just realize that just one foot, this guy is dead? But his way he thinks limits him, and he reduces himself to nothing, to lunch. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the greatest. You don't need to be the most intelligent. You don't need to be the richest. You don't need to be the heaviest. You don't need to be the longest. Think about the lion. The lion is not the smartest in the jungle. It's not the most intelligent. It's not the fastest. It's not the longest. It's not the bravest. No. Yet the lion eats all of them, turn them to lunch because of the way he thinks. Because the lion knows himself that I am the lion. I know my true potential. So when I meet all of you, I turn you to lunch. That elephant is your vision. That elephant is your true potential. You are the lion. Turn everything to lunch. Turn everything to breakfast. Let go your fear. Do you know why you are afraid? Go into that workbook that you have with you. Creating a new you. That's why you are afraid. I'm concluding here right now. That's why you are afraid. Please, can you go into that workbook real quick? Creating a new you. Just one paper. Creating a new you. Can you see that? All of us that we are seated here, we have been programmed to believe something. You have been programmed to believe something. Your hardware is already corrupt. Yes. You have been programmed to believe some lies. What are the lies that you have believed about yourself? What are the lies that you have believed about money, about marriage? Many people have believed some lies about marriage. Knowledge doesn't just change you. You need to know the right knowledge. You need to have the right knowledge, because you can have the wrong knowledge about something and you think you know. And that is the most dangerous thing, to have the wrong knowledge about something and to stand and be defending that wrong knowledge. Wow. That's destruction. thing that will transform your life is knowledge, strategy, and execution plan. And the key that you need today is knowledge. I'm going to tell you something right here. You're going to do that thing that you have with you. You're going to do it yourself. Very important. See, in my one-on-one coaching, when people do this, I see people cry. I let them cry. It's good to cry. See, look at everything. What have you believed? Check it yourself. Look at number 2, and look at, you have to write those things down. You have to write those things. See, the first thing that happens is that you pass through an experience. There was a woman that I was coaching one time, and this woman is 45 years old, and when we trace it back, because everything you are going through, your fear or whatever that is going through, everything is a fruit. I want you to know that. Frustration is a fruit. Stress is a fruit. Everything you are going through is a fruit. Think about it. Just start thinking about those things in your heart right now. You have them. They are all fruits. But every fruit can be traced to the roots. What we do is this: we try to cut the tree from the branches, and what happens again? It grows, because the root is still there. So what we do, we trace it to the root. And this woman discovered she's been married 3 times, and because she doesn't like men. She doesn't like men. She never wanted that, but she doesn't like men, and she doesn't know why she doesn't like men. And when we trace it, and we discovered that when she was 4, the mother told her that men are bad people. She went through that experience. So everything you are going through right now, you have to trace it to the roots. There was an experience. That experience moved. Oh, I don't have my board. Okay, that experience moved. You agree with the experience. There must be a point of agreement. And when you agree with it, what happens next is your belief system. And when you believe it, then it becomes your character, your behavior. You start acting that way. And automatically you find yourself on autopilot. By default, you just keep responding and doing the same thing the same way, and you don't know why you're doing it. You have to do that assignment. Very important. Trace every fruit back to the roots, because when you form your belief system, automatically everything, whether you believe in yourself or not, is going to shoot you into your true potential or limit you from fulfilling your true potential. Remember, you have greatness in you. You were designed for leadership. Believe it and produce something. Thank you.